So today I'm going to have a little of discussion and an interview. But before getting to a discussion and interview, I'm going to introduce myself first. And my name is Audrey. And because I'm not alone today, I'm with my friend here. So please introduce yourself, friend.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Amira.
So before we go into discussion, we have an interview session first. In this interview session, we are going to ask each other questions. So, in each question is only just two questions. So we have quite a lot of questions, quite a long question, I guess. So I'm going to ask Mira first, and then she will do the same thing as I do, right? Okay, Mira, for our first question is what does it mean to be good with money? And can you explain it?
Okay, thank you for the question. For me, being good with money means that you can manage your own money or your finance effectively. There are many ways that you can do it to manage your own money. First, you can do a budgeting. So, budgeting, you don't have to be as complicated as you thought it's gonna be. It's as simple as recording your own income and expenses. And after that, you make a list and then you divide them into two categories. The first one is fixed expenses, and the second one is variable expenses. So, what are those expenses? The fixed one is the money that you have to spend in order to live. What I mean is like such as paying your rent or grocery shopping every week or every month. It depends on yourself. And the variable expenses is the money that you spend for fun activities, such as buying the things that you want, like you desire for it, or hang out with your friends, probably going to a cafe, going to the cinema, hanging out, and so on. And after you divide them, you can see which expense that actually become an overspend to you, like which one you overspend. For example, you overspend in hanging out. You hang out a lot, you spend so much on ticket movies or food or drinks. How to handle the situation is you can always invite your friends to your house and you guys can watch a movie. So you can set up a home theater. Okay, the second one is saving. As for saving, it's not just putting your money into a bank account and expect them to grow over time. But saving, you can have two benefits from saving. First of all, you can collect your emergency fund, and you can also have your money for your saving goals. So let's talk about emergency fund. What is emergency fund? Emergency fund is the amount of money that you have for your unexpected expenses, such as unexpected medical bills, or maybe your car broke down and you have to fix it, or maybe one of your furniture broke, and so on. And for saving goals can help you to motivate for you to save. For example, you have a goal, you want to get married at the end of the year, or you want to have a vacation this summer, and so on. Actually, the saving goals really help because you have a motivation to collect your money. And how do you save your money? So every month after you get your allowance, uh, you s- you transfer the amount of money that you want to save into another bank account, so you won't notice your money is gone, and you won't use it, accidentally use it. Okay, so the third one is be financial, having a good financial literature. So financial literature is important because you have to have knowledge about money, like how money works and finance products and so on. For example, interest and investment. Okay, I think that's all for my tips.
Okay, that is really great explanation. I really learned a lot of things by that explanation. So the second question is what type of social media that you're using and what is the benefit that you get by using that social media?
Okay, so as a Gen Z, I actually have a lot of social media apps on my phone, but I only use two of them mainly. Those are Instagram and TikTok, as they're both a viral apps right now. Like a lot of like almost everyone use that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Instagram. So Instagram is a platform where you can always share photos or videos to everyone. And for me, the benefit of having Instagram is first, communication. You can eat, you can keep in touch with uh, friends, like old friends, high school friends, or even your family that's far away, that lives far away from you. How? By first we have direct message. Direct message is where you can always like text them. And we also have a story. So story is where they can upload a short time, like 24-hour of photos or videos, and we can see what they're doing, like their activities, where they are they on a vacation or others, and so on. And the other benefit for me is I can build my own personal brand. Like I can do a personal branding to make myself like look more, have more value. And if I want to start a business, I can always use Instagram as a media, as a platform to promote my business. And the second one is TikTok. So I have a TikTok. Mostly, TikTok is the social media where you upload or you watch a short period of video. Like, it's only about 30 to 60 seconds of video. And for me, the benefit is usually that's my entertainment. Like whenever I need something to boost my mood, I can always watch funny videos from there and so on. Also, it's educational. What I mean by educational is if I need, for example, if I need some tips for presentation or making um PowerPoint slides or any other, like using Excel or other lectures, I can always type on the search engine and find anything that I need, and it's gonna help me to do those things that I really need. I think that's just the social medias that I use.
Mm, okay, that is a really great answer. I really feel like all of your answer is really useful. Okay.
Okay, um, it's my turn to ask Audrey two questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, the first question is, what are the skills that you think is important for the success of your study?
So, for me, the most important skill for a success study is time management. Because if you had the skill of time management, you could like decide which things that is most important that you have to do and which is the last important thing that you need to do. So it's really important to have that skill. And beside that, time management really good for you to um, for your assignment. So you do your assignment. You could like finish your assignment before deadline, and it's very useful to have that skill. And then the second skill was critical thinking. Because if you have critical thinking, you could analyze information, you could analyze a discussion, you could make a great discussion with other people, and then you could improve your solving problems skill. So that's why critical thinking is very important. And then the next skill that is important too is solving problems, problem solving. it's very important because without problem solving skill, you can't finish your studies, you can't finish your assignment because um, finishing the assignment and the study, the subject that you study is need a problem solving skill. You need to solve the problem that is being given to you. So that is the important skill. And the last important skill is self-discipline because if you have self-discipline skill, you could you could be focused on what you're doing. You could get motivated by what you're doing. And even though there's a lot of distraction and challenges, but um you could always be focused on it, even though there's a lot of distraction and challenges. So that is the four important skill for succeed your study.
Okay, that's a really nice advice. As a college student, I think it's what you said is true. We really need those skills. Okay, so the second question, it's a little bit different from the previous one. Can you tell us your school years, like from your kindergarten until now?
It's going to be a quite long story if I tell it really detailed. So I'm going to tell it the important parts. So at first, I went to kindergarten at 5 years old and then graduated at 7. So it took me 2 years to go to kindergarten. After graduating from kindergarten, I went to elementary school. In elementary school, I went to a private school, so we learned with two languages, English and Indonesia. So it was a um, bilanguage school. So every subject that we learn is in Indonesia and in English. But when we reach fourth grade, we must learn other language than English and Indonesia. We must learn Arabic language. So from fourth grade until sixth grade, we learn three language. That is Indonesia and English, and then Arabic. After graduating from elementary school, because elementary school took like around 6 years. After graduating from there, I continued my study to middle school. And I didn't go to public middle school. I didn't go to private middle school. I go to public middle school this time. And in middle school, I didn't have a great experience on teaching life, teaching at school because we have to quarantine because of COVID-19. So it only just took around 1.5 years for me to study in school. And the rest of the year, we must study at home, online, even though there's not a lot of subject that stick in my brain. But it's quite a fun time back in middle school. And after middle school, I will continue my study again in high school. And in high school, we start to studying life again at school. There's no online study, no online teaching. Fully we study at school. And it was an exhausting time, a really, really frustrating time too, because um, we have to like divide our focus time to three sections. That is like normal study, and then we have to study for national exam for going to public university in Indonesia, and then the third focus is on project because my curriculum are different from other school, so we had different kind of focus time too. And after graduate from high school, I took a lot of study for taking national exam to go into public university in Indonesia. It was a hard time. It was a exhausting time in my life. But uh, after trying really hard to go to public school, I didn't get accepted to any public school in public university in Indonesia. So I decided to let myself to join a private university. So now I'm at my current place in my current university in London. So yeah, I think that's all from my experience.
Okay, wow, that's really impressional for you. Like I really like the when you're elementary, you also study Arabic. It's really really cool.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next session. Okay, so we're gonna describe our photos. Audrey, you can go first.
Okay, so in my photos, there's three men sitting together in a couch where they're leaning slightly forward as they were paying attention on something. So I'm going to describe the first man that is on the left, who is wearing a white shirt with blue, white suit and blue shirt underneath the suit. And he was resting his arm on his leg and looking forward to the right. And then beside the man with the white suit, there is a man with a brown suit with beige shirt underneath it. And he also wearing a pattern tie with a white stripe on it. And he he also leaned forward with his hand together like this on his leg. And then beside the man with brown suit, there's a man wearing a long, a man who has a long and dark hair, wearing a traditional style for his hair decoration, and he wearing a blue shirt with it. Um, after you wearing a blue shirt, he also wear really nice cowboy boots for his shoes. And for the background, I think it's on indoor where there is a brick wall for the background. And it's giving an impression that it could be on a casual meeting or event. And the mood appearance, I'm sorry, and the mood, it seems like a serious situation. And if we look at their body language or their face expression, they're really in a very serious situation. I think that's all from describing my picture.
Okay, thank you. The next picture is I'm gonna describe this picture. Okay, so as we can see, there are a group of 5 people sitting in a meeting room. The room is quite small, so I guess this is a startup company, and the meeting is non-formal as everyone was laid back and they could active they could be active. And the man standing wearing a gray suit, I think that's the leader of the meeting. He's holding a paper, and the woman wearing a long sleeve white shirt on the left with the curly hair, she raised her hand, meaning that she freely expressed her own ideas and opinions about their discussion. And other coworkers seem to actively engage on the meeting, and they're also listening to the woman who's giving her own ideas. And I think this is a non-formal meeting because laptops and other things are scattered on the table. As you can see, there's water bottle and a mug and a cactus, and there are post-it on the wall. And yeah, I think that's all for my description of this photo. So now we're gonna go to the next part.
So the next part is we are going to discuss about a study case. So I'm going to read the study case first, and then we're going to give our opinion about the study case. So the study case is about a student named Adam. He lives away from his family and hometown and has a limited amount of money to spend. Adam often runs out of money near the end of the month, but his father only can send him money once a month, and he only give him the money at the beginning of the month. So Mira, what is your opinion about this study case? Great um what is the great action that Adam needs to do for saving his money?
Okay, so I can relate to Adam a lot. Uh, so in my opinion, Adam needs to make a budget and stick to it. So how can he make the budget? So first of all, he has to set his goals first. Like why does he wanna make a budget? And then he has to have a realistic range of, for example, groceries. He has to set a realistic range of money for his groceries, for transportation, for hanging out, and so on. So this budget allows him to limit his own expense. For example, for groceries, he already spent of his money, half of the budget. So that means he only can spend the other half. And this helps Adam to stay on track and not short he won't be short on money before the end of the month. And what about you, Audrey?
I really agree with your opinion, but I think recording his expense are much more worth it than just budgeting because if he records his expense, he could analyze about how many money that he spent, and he can aware about his spending habit. Like if he spend a lot, then he have to minimize the spending. And then he could identify the unnecessary expense, like maybe hang out with friends and um, maybe what else? Bought something that is useless. So that's why he must like record his expense. And not just that, he could be more realistic about his budget. So I think record his expense are much important. And then sticking the budget is the second important thing to do.
I think, but in my opinion, if you only record your expenses, like you won't notice. For example, you expect your groceries money about like $50. But if you only record your expenses, you won't know, like you're not gonna know how much you have from those $50. For example, you have spent like $30, but you didn't recognize, like you didn't notice, like you didn't know how much money left you can spend. So I think sticking to a budget is pretty important.
Yeah. I think I think both of them are really important. Like if you stick on a budget, you will know like how much things that you're going to expense. But if you record your expense too, you will notice like how many money did I own now, like the last money that I own, and like you will know um like where your money goes. So it's much more organized if you record your expense too. So I guess both of them are really important.
Okay, I agree with you. So I think he can make a budget and then throughout the month he can record his own expenses.
Yes.
Mm,
We
that's a
agree with
deal
that.
then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a win-win.
Okay.
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 So we're gonna move
Yeah, we're
to the
going to
next.
move to the next session. It's about discussion session where we are going to discuss about what do we usually do to save our money. So first, I'm going to ask Mira, what method that you use to save your money?
Okay, so my parents have taught me about money management since I was little. Since I didn't understand back then, they kept lecturing me about how important it is to have a saving. And as I grow older, I received my monthly allowance, and I was told to save at least 20% of the allowance to my saving account. So what I do is like I it was my first mistake. I kept the money in the same account as the money that I used to spend on other things. And as I got older, I have been through all trial and errors, and I found a way that really works for me. This, so I usually, like, as soon as I get my allowance, I separate the money. So, for example, monthly I get $100, and 20% from $100 is $20. So in $20, I separate them and I put them on into another bank account that I made. And then as for transportation and so on, subscriptions, I also transfer the money to the application. So it's it's making me easier to, use the money for that specific thing. And then the remaining of the money that I have in my bank account, I can use that for whatever I want, or if I have like needs, like buying some stationaries or buying books and so on. And yeah, I think that's include budgeting. So I think that's how I save my money. And how about you, Audrey? Do you have like a different method or same method as me to save your money?
Well, my method is quite similar like you, but there's some kind of differences between it. Like you, at first, when you have your allowance, you separate it, right? The money that
Yep.
you're going to save and the money that you're going to do for your expense. But in my case, I separate them at last in the end of the month. So I use my money first for what I need for my expense. And if I have some remaining money or some money left, I'm going to save the money. Because why I do the method like that? Because we will never know what kind of expense that we going to have, right? Like there must be unexpected expense. Like all of a sudden they ask us to buy a book, so we have um to uh to expense our money on buying a book. About buying a book. I'm sorry. So in my method, I use my money first, and then if I have some money left, I save the money. So the difference is just that.
Okay. For the difference, I have like a question. So, what if, if you spend your money first and you save the rest, but like you're not gonna have like the same amount of money go to your saving account like in the same amount. So, do you have like any saving goals or not? Because if you don't put the same amount of money in your bank account, and it's not gonna grow like a lot, like um, re- uh, uh, it's not gonna, you're not gonna have like more money in the end of the day, in your savings.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer that. So Yes, in my saving account, there are not really as a lot of money because um the money that I collect are in the different amount. It could be less, it could be more. Um, because I don't have any saving goals. Like I don't have like, oh, I want to buy this, so I have to save money for that. No, I saving money just for like emergency money. So if I have something that I should spend on, I use that saving money. So it doesn't matter how big the nominals is, how many the money is. It's just that it's for emergency, so it doesn't need to be that much. But it's going to be different if I have my goals. If I have like, I want to buy something. I want to, for example, like I want to buy an iPad, for example. So because I have a goal, so I do your method that I separate when I have my allowance, I separate them. The expenses, I separate for like the saving one and then the expense one. So I think it depends on what kind of situation that I'm in. So yeah. And I have a question for you too, Mira. For the
Okay.
method that you use, if there some like because you like separated first your allowance, right? On
Yep.
the beginning of the month. But what
Mhm.
if there's like unexpected expense? Like you have to bought something that is not on your predicting. And but you're in short of money. How do you manage that?
Okay, thank you for the question. To answer the question, that's exactly why I save my money first. Like, mm, if so, the money that I separate in the beginning of the month, uh, it's actually I I don't wanna use that money if I don't really need it. But like you said, if the situation is like I really need to buy something or I really need to spend that money, I will take some from the saving account and just buy the things that I really need. But if I don't really need, then I won't. So the separating account it really helps me to limit my own shopping. So that's how. Does that answer your question already?
Yeah. Now I get it. How you manage it?
Okay. So I think um we both uh have our own pros and cons uh for this. But yeah, I think uh, everyone has different methods of saving their money, but what matters is you have like your money, like you don't you have like a saving, like how it doesn't matter the amount, but at least you got some, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I think that's all for our little talks, discussion, interviews, and describing the photos. I really hope that this video will be helpful, will be useful, like for the money stuff and others. Thank you for your time and bye bye. Thank you guys.
Bye bye. See you guys later.